Greetings and welcome back, Dapplings, to Robocraft. Post-hotfix, which has, I understand, fixed hover blades and rotor blades so that you no longer try to just fly off to the, try to move into orbit. Now, we are going to be playing with the Post-hotfix in this episode once again, just to test that out, really. I've just gone through, upgraded some of the guns. These are, it's now in the 13 million robot ranking range. I honestly don't understand what's happening with robot ranking. Robot ranking is moving around so much, it's kind of crazy. They're constantly changing the robot ranking values, so it's a little bit hard to compare what I've done, but basically I've upgraded most of the guns to tier 9, so we've got 4 tier 9s and 1 tier 10 gun, and that's really all I've done. And yes, a couple of people have noticed that I've written bacon on the side of the Post-hotfix, because why not? Or more to the point, because bacon. You can use the carbon cubes to write quite a lot of things, and I used mine to write bacon. I don't feel I need to justify that decision. I think it speaks for itself, really. Now, you may notice that the garage has been, well, it's been had most of its character stripped away, and that is a real shame. We no longer have the beautiful view of Mars out there. I'm not even sure if we can get out there, whether it even exists. I doubt it. Now, this was done, however, for a very good reason. I'm fortunate in that my computer was able to run the game at high settings without any problem at all, and I enjoyed having all of the character of the mothership as a result. However, a number of people had quite a lot of problems. For some people, the problem was as bad as 5 FPS in the mothership. Now, for those people, all the superfluous information, the models for Mars, the other garages that were out there, completely useless. It doesn't do anything. It just adds a little bit of style and character to the game, but ultimately was massively impacting their ability to play and enjoy the game. So I completely understand the logic in removing that. Now, there are a couple of other fixes that have come through with hover blades. They've got drift, and also the stability assistance has been gradually scaled back the higher in mark you go. So at a very low mark hover blade, they have almost no drift. When you stop, and they're almost impossible to flip up unless you're really trying hard to do so. At the higher tiers, though, quite a lot of drift. Also, they're not nearly as stable as they used to be. Unless you've built your bot well, you're going to flip. Now, that was introduced, I gather, largely because a part of the community was kind of unhappy that hover blades had been made so easy to use. That is perhaps an unfair way of putting it, though. I think that a lot of people early on took great amount of pride in the fact that they'd managed to build hover blade bots, which was no easy task to manage. As a result, when the stability to hover blades were brought in, and anyone could just throw hover blades on a bot and it would work amazingly, perhaps there was a little bit of feeling that something had been lost, that the game had been made too hard. Certainly, I'm no stranger to that kind of feeling in games. For example, many people will have heard me bemoaning how simplified the AI in Black and White 2 is, for example. I feel that they really stripped out the character of that game by making the game so accessible to people. And that is a remarkably arrogant thing to say, and I completely appreciate that, but it's my honest feeling. Now, I didn't feel that way with Robocraft specifically, but it's perhaps because I'd learned to build bots that way, and I'd never really noticed it. I'd never struggled to learn it. I just basically picked it up over time from looking at how other people did it. You know, I learned by example, and a lot of my bots are derivative works. I've seen someone achieve something, so I start experimenting with it, and eventually I end up with something. But for very new players who might not have as many different opportunities to observe someone who makes good bots, for example, you know, you see a lot of that sort of stuff in the higher tiers, it may have been incredibly frustrating for them to have these components but really not be able to put together a good bot. So I'm really glad that they have at least kept that for the lower tiers. So a Mark 1 hoverblade will still be very stable. It'll still have very little drift. But by the time you get to Mark 10, then you need to know how to make a hover bot that is going to work. Otherwise, it's just going to flip upside down, or you're going to be slipping and sliding everywhere. I think they've made the best of both worlds in a way. So I'm glad that they decided to not just revert the changes, but instead to try and scale them in. So as player skill, well, hopefully, increases, so too does the difficulty of building the bots. Now, there are a couple of other fixes, namely in the lobby, platoons. Now, this is fantastic news because I am hoping to be starting a Robocraft collab project in the very near future, which will heavily involve platoons. And this was something of a concern because platoons were very broken. Now, I've not had a chance to test it out fully with four-man platoons, and it may still be that that's still a bit of rigmarole to suffer through whenever you're trying to get into a game. But I would very much appreciate any feedback from anyone in the comments who plays in four-player platoons often, whether you've noticed much of a difference since this hotfix. Have the queue times gone down? Can you actually just get into games occasionally now? Additionally, we have kill counters in the practice mode. In fact, I may show that off towards the end of this video. It really doesn't affect anything. It's just for yourself. I believe they persist across instances, but I think this is there to try and lean towards a little bit of PvE content. Unfortunately, we don't yet have any bots that will fight back in practice mode. That was planned, but they hit a bit of a snag. So that will hopefully be in the next patch. But we are getting a little bit closer now to the pit and the hub as well. And I think all of these things are coming together. Perhaps your kill count will start to be reflected in those modes a little bit. I'm not sure yet. But as for currently, practice mode is practically the same, except that it is now a kill counter. That may be reset when they add PvE enemies in practice mode. Numerous bug fixes were also applied. I'm not going to go through all of them, just some audio things here and there, and for example, the grid on the floor, that sort of stuff. Lastly, there are some hints as to what to expect. Coming soon, but not in this patch, as the patch notes read, we're releasing a new payment portal provided by Solar, which will offer many other ways to buy Galaxy Cash. I know a lot of people were having trouble picking up Galaxy Cash, so hopefully this will help with that. And we're planning to make some final balance changes to rail and electroplates, and the amount that weapon overclocking will damage. Or rather, weapons overclock with damage, so how much more damage they get as they overclock. They have been discussing this very actively on the forums. If you have any input for these sorts of balance changes, then do consider hopping over to the forums, and perhaps you'll be able to influence the way that these balances get applied, but it doesn't seem that we're going to be getting into a game at the moment. We are very much over the wait time. That is a bit of a shame, but it has given me an opportunity to just gloss over some of the patch notes. So I'm going to pause the recording here, though, and we will be back once I've got a battle. And welcome back. As you can hear, or may not be able to hear too well, there was a slight difference in the tone of the countdown the higher, or rather lower, the number got. But this is about the third attempt at recording that I've done now. The first game took an age to get in, and in that time, I'd muted my mic for some reason and I forgot to unmute it. Entirely my fault on that one. My bad. Second one, though, took about 4 minutes to get into the game, and then I got immediately kicked back out. I mean, before the countdown had even finished. That was a little bit frustrating. And I wept on chat, and I was consoled by a few people, mocked by others, and generally shenanigans were had, and the community cheered me up a little bit by making fun of me. No, it seriously, laugh with me, I think. They may have been laughing at me, I don't know. If they were laughing at me, it was kind of in a sympathetic, ha ha ha, glad it didn't happen to me, it really does suck kind of way. Or at least I hope. Nevertheless, here we are in this battle. Let's hope this one works this time. It seems that the promised improvements to the lobbying, that's my official stance on it so far. At least in the solo queue. If they fix platoons, okay, all is forgiven. But if platoons are as bad as this, then it's going to be rough. Yeah. Okay, let's get some damage dealt on this one. See if we can't help our ally pick it clean before the enemy arrive. There is an enemy right there. Hello down there. I'd appreciate it if you were dead. Oh no, you're on the move. You're probably gonna go through... What the dickens? You're going through the... I don't like calling people on hacks, but that seemed hacks to me. It did not appear that you should be able to have moved the way you did. It seems that this hotfix may have fixed a few things, but it's probably broken many others. Please stop shooting the beautiful Kapoicopter. It doesn't like being shot. Also, it's a sky tank. You're wasting your rails. Kapoicopter is not amused by your puny little gun. Be gone. Though, I am going to head back to base. I do like having my full complement of rotors. But whilst I'm moving backwards, let's keep an eye out for enemies so I can shoot them. Okay, I'll just shoot at their base. In an expression of my impotent wrath. Okay, we're pretty much doing okay with the towers so far. We've also got someone going for this one. Wow, I'm slow. Now, there were a number of changes that were implemented that were kind of back-end changes in the patch notes. One of them was regarding the UI and also the chat. Now, I've noticed the chat has been very temperamental. It's been cutting off parts of messages. For example, I'll be typing. I'm a touch typist, so I type quickly. But I'll see that the text is there because I'm looking at the screen, not at my fingers. So the whole message is in the text input field. When I hit enter, only about half of the message makes it to the actual chat. So it'll typically cut off the beginning of the message. I have no idea what's going on with that. Though I would very much appreciate it if anyone has noticed the same thing to let me know. Or if you've not had any trouble but chatting quite frequently, then also let me know, because then it might help me isolate what's going on. You know, it's useful to know who's not being affected by a problem as much as who is. Then I will pass that on to Seb, and hopefully something will be changed. Please stop shooting my lovely little allies down there, you scallywag you. Also, you, stop. It's not polite. Yes, I know I'm shooting you, and you could argue that that is also not polite, but you did it first. Actually, two rights do not make... two wrongs do not make a right. Two rights do actually make a right. True facts. I've tested this extensively. Generally, if you do two good things, you have not changed that. It's still a good thing. Right. Well, let's get back down there. It's quite badly damaged. They're going to have a hard time protecting that at this point. We are actually pushing quite well. Our top fusion tower is this one. Let's see, where are you? Are you railing it? Really? I see you down there. See if I can help you shed some of your rings. Hello. You... What is your name? Dan... something. Daniel1014. I may have to pass this video on. Now, it could be an honest glitch. So, this is not me saying, haha, I'm going to tell on you. But rather, I can use this as an example of where that glitch has occurred. Not that you shouldn't, you know, call out hackers if you know them to be that. But I'm not in the habit of declaring that every unexpected occurrence in a game is the result of hacking. 9 times out of 10, it's actually just because of a glitch. An unintended problem with the code, not an intentional abuse of it by a player. Please stop. Really unnice of you. I'll do my best to try and dissuade them, but it's hard to get an angle on them from here. I'm going to have to swoop over, I think. Oh, you're on the move? Right about there. There we go. Let's try and take you out again. No, you're trying to jump about there. Bingo. Think you are gone. Right, has our ally been able to evacuate? I think so. Alright, let's get up into the sky. Get those rail flyers spotted. Now, they have done a little bit of damage to the Kapoicopter. Losing 2 rotor blades does generally mean that I'm going to be forced to the ground, but you'll notice how slowly I'm moving down. Because the Kapoicopter refuses to just plummet to the ground. I mean, well, if you shoot all of them off, it will, but, you know, you'd have to be pretty on the ball to be able to do that much damage that quickly before I start moving out of the way. So one of the nice things about the Kapoicopter, it is effectively a tank that flies. It's very, very hard to kill. Occasionally you'll see it, but that's going to happen with any bot. It's going to be hard to make a bot that is completely immune to one-shotting. It only requires a very unlucky angle from an attack. Well, unlucky for you, fantastic for the attacker. Let's see if I can't apply a little bit of damage over here. Now, I'm not noticing anyone else but Daniel, who has been floating through the ground. This has been a problem with Robocraft for a long time. It's not a new thing. People occasionally glitching through the floor. And quite often, it's as annoying to them as it is to the people being shot by them. Please stop. How mean. Alright, you down there. Let me remove some of your legs. Ah, you removed one of my other rotor blades. Still gonna only be going down slowly though. Oh dear. Daniel, the glitchy medic. Tesla. Not liking that, Daniel. Really not liking that. Let me see if I can't get back. I've lost most of my hover blades at this point, which is a bit of an issue.
Plasma drone spotted.
Now, we have lost almost an entire wing, but look how much damage the Kapoi-copter took. Granted, the next shot that smacked me in the cockpit would have probably killed us, but still, that was a pretty healthy amount of damage that it sustained. Now, all this while, the enemy are being denied overclocking, whilst we are getting quite a lot of it uniformly because of the overclock bonus we're getting. Now, at this point, I could just as well just shell the base. In fact, it might be worth me doing that. Who's shooting at me? No. Bad. Go away. You're going to shoot at me next, aren't you? You weren't actually shooting at me before. You were just shooting at the tower. Stay on the move. Oh, it does feel a little bit rough for the enemy. They don't seem to have as many plasma bombers as we do. And that could be a mistaken assumption on my part, but it does seem that they're not really projecting that kind of firepower much. Okay, I can't do much against you now. I could, but oh well, I can now. But typically the team with the most plasma bombers will win. They're a very, very difficult thing to counter. If one team has a lot of them, then it can be really difficult to deal with. There we go. Yeah, you're going straight through the ground? I thought you might. Alright. I mean, even if that is a glitch, and they didn't intentionally cause that to happen, they are willfully making use of it at this point. Which is as bad, in my opinion. The only honourable thing that you could do right now is to sacrifice yourself and leave this game. Okay, you are being scallywags. Let's try and apply a bit of damage to you. That'll do. There we go. And again, I think about there. Maybe about to go down if I just let that rail smack me in the face all the time. And I've lost my weapons. Okay, time to move. Can't really deal with you too well. Don't really want to be too close to the floor, but not got much option at this point. Let's use the wall. Oh, I was trying to use the wall to help me turn. Did kind of, but I'm very far away from the base and I'm being harassed. Try and keep an eye out for where those shells are coming from and move to avoid them if I can. Okay, no, never mind. I've made it back to base, I think, maybe. Yes! Haha! It's okay. We're fine. Now, two of the enemy have very high overclocked bots, which is impressive considering they've basically been playing without an overclock bonus for most of the game. They're not actually as far behind as I would have expected, so I'm going to go out and say that their team is probably better than ours on the whole for them to be in that position. But we do need to take these towers back so that we can start shelling their reactor again. Let's try and get our whole team over there. And did a little bit of damage, but not a whole lot yet. Now, if the Kapoi-copter can get over a tower, I can strip it clean of crystals in moments. But it does require that I'm directly overhead to really bring that to bear. Daniel, you scallywag. You are full on just willfully glitching everything now. Just wiped out like all of our attackers. Okay, we're going down, but I'll take this tower out with me. There we go. Try and adjust. Adjust. Don't go near Daniel. Daniel will wreck our face. Okay, forward. Okay, we've kind of stabilized. We're on the move. Taking a lot of damage, but while they're focusing on me, they're not focusing on the tower, which is actually what they should be doing. Right, on the move. Get behind here. Ooh, we're still in this. It's going to be hard to get out of here, though. Let's try and get back to base if I can. Don't necessarily want to die, because we're this close to base, and the timer on respawning right now will be significant. So even though there's like virtually none of my bot left, might as well try. How many hoverblades? I've got 2 hoverblades left and 1 rotor. Not actually bad. We're controlling fairly well. Ko-you is what we had. And on one side, oh, we've got the Bound on the other. Okay, we've lost one of them. That's unfortunate. But we should be able to make a solid push at this point. I don't think they're coming back from this. If they're lucky, and enough of us go down in one at a time, they might be able to counter push, but I mean, the base productivity is high enough now, they wouldn't really need to take a tower in order to be fairly well equipped to take out a reactor. Alright, let's try and get all the way around. We're going to keep a low profile this time, though, if we can. Where are the enemy? We've got a fairly high power radar, so we should see them. There we go. Right, let's get rid of you, shall we? No! Bad. That's right. You skedaddle out of the way, you. Stop attacking my ally. I don't care if I get shot. Oh, that did hurt, though. Right. Seeking refuge. Let me in. Let me in. Oh, you scallywag, let me in. Right, okay. Now, it's going to be hard to get back from here. Oh, virtually no. I was going to try and respawn, but no. Oh, well. That's actually a nice little flyer there. You're capable of performing air collisions, which is pretty awesome. That one is also a very nice little mobile flyer there. Now, the enemy have 2 towers. That's kind of scary. It's probably one of the strongest positions they've been in since the start of the game. Ooh. Managed to take a lot of your bot out there. This area is where Daniel hunts. Alright, 14 more seconds and then we're back. The enemy's reactor is seriously in danger right now. I may even just skirt around the map and try to go for the reactor. It might be the better option for me to take. Right, where's the largest concentration of my allies? Well, you know what? Things are so scattered right now that it might be better for me to go along with that initial plan. Because things are so scattered, I don't think the enemy are going to put up a solid resistance. They will be distracted by trying to engage all of the different, all of my different allies in different locations. So this is probably as good a time to try and hit the reactor as I can. There we go, done a chunk of damage to that. If any allies can take out their other... Oh, there's a lot of death here. There we go, perfect timing. Thank you very much. Ah, oh, damn it. The shield is still active for a little while, even though it's like going down. You can't shoot over it until it fully has been destroyed. Need to destroy that one though. Oh, really? I can't seem to dislodge it. Annoying. I'll go for the others and then come back for that one later. My plasmas are much better at hitting a group of crystals than they are at hitting one, as you can see there. Let's try and disconnect all of these. There we go. A little bit more, I think. They've noticed me. That is a shame. Never mind. Rail managed to take it out. Good game. Well played, everyone. I enjoyed that. Though, despite Daniel's glitch, he only had an overclock level of 8, which is actually kind of surprising. Let's have a look at you. You mostly were focused on healing. You did a little bit of damage. I really just don't understand what was going on there. You got a very low score. Alright, where do we sit in score? We're actually in the middle of the road with score, and I thought we did okay. But wow, okay. 3 deaths. Only got 1 direct kill ourselves. 3 deaths and 7 assists. In terms of damage, very low. We actually did not do particularly well in that fight, and yet I felt that I was actually contributing the whole time. I'm suitably humbled by that, actually. We did not do particularly well at all. Alex did the best in damage, and then Zigolo and Pipsiru and some skill. Spelt incorrectly. As for kills, Zigolo did the best. Got 7 deaths though. Yeah, I'm really not liking that. 137. That is poor performance from me. I apologize. But there we are. Throughout that battle, I was making a point of trying to fly at the ceiling for most of the game. Or just, dipping up there every now and then. And we didn't fly off into orbit. So that has clearly been fixed. We got 174,032 RP from that, so that's not bad at all. Now, our new total is just shy of 1 million RP, so we can get out there soon and perhaps start getting some more components. I think the Kapoicopter probably needs an upgrade in its armor for the weapons that it's got, because these weapons are pulling it up into a much higher tier. I mean, I've still got tier 7 armor on parts of it. Yeah, at the very least, I would like to replace all of the tier 8 with tier 9. Ideally, I'd like to kind of sprinkle some TX blocks and Mark 10 blocks on this. So the very light but CPU expensive blocks and the Mark 10 blocks as well. That would probably require a bit of a redesign to shave off some of the blocks, because we won't have enough CPU to be able to fit all of that. But I think I can make it work. But that is going to be it for this episode. I hope you have enjoyed. And for those of you who can now play the game without much FPS lag, I hope you are enjoying the new world that you have been welcomed to. Apparently, there were improvements from systems that could only get like 15, 16 FPS up to 50 FPS. So that's probably going to be making it possible for a lot of people to play the game who couldn't before. So hopefully you're enjoying that as well. But that is it from me. So until next time, and as always, do take care.